Hello, all. Last time we learned that you are not a ghost living inside a machine. You are your body, and your body is not an object. It is a living, perceiving power that opens onto the world. We learned about the body schema, that is, your body's silent knowledge of itself. It is how you know where your hand is without looking. It is how a blind person's cane becomes part of their body. It is how a musician feels the music through their fingers. Today, we will go deeper. We will ask, what is the self? What is time? And are we truly free? Most people think of time as a line. The past is behind us, the present is now, the future is ahead, and the self is a little pilot sitting inside the head, watching the line go by. Merleau-Ponty says this picture is completely wrong. It is wrong because it comes from objective thinking. This is the habit of treating everything like an object. But time is not an object. You cannot hold time in your hand, and the self is not a pilot. You cannot find a little person inside your brain. We need a picture. Let us build it step by step. First, we need to talk about the famous cogito. Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. He wanted to find something absolutely certain. He doubted everything. He doubted his senses. He doubted the physical world. He even doubted that his body was real. But he realized one thing was certain, the fact that he was doubting. If he was thinking, he must exist. This cogito became the foundation of modern philosophy. It says that the self is a thinking thing. The self is a pure consciousness separate from the body and the world. Merleau-Ponty thinks this is partly true but also misleading. I think is real, but it is not the most basic level of the self. It is like the top of an iceberg. Underneath it, there is a much deeper, much older self. Merleau-Ponty calls this deeper self the tacit cogito. Tacit means silent. This is a silent self. It does not speak in words. It does not think in concepts. It is not I think that I think. What is it then? It is the felt momentum of your existence. It is the simple, wordless fact that you are alive and moving toward the world. Think about a baby. A baby does not say, I think, therefore I am. But a baby clearly exists. A baby reaches for a toy. A baby turns toward a sound. The baby is not thinking about these actions. The baby is just living them. That is the tacit cogito. It is the body's silent grasp of itself and the world. Now think about the spoken cogito. That is when you say out aloud, I am a thinking person. That statement uses language. It uses concepts. It reflects on the past. It is a second level activity. The spoken cogito depends on the tacit cogito. You cannot speak about yourself unless you already exist in a silent bodily way. Why does this matter? It matters because it proves that you are not a pure consciousness. You are not a ghost. You are a living, breathing, situated being. Your self is not behind your body. Your self is spread throughout your body. Your self is in your posture, your gestures, your habits. When you walk into a room, people do not see your soul, they see your body, and that body is you. Now we come to the most difficult but also the most beautiful part of the book. We must talk about time. The common sense view of time is a line. The past is over there, the future is over here. The present is a tiny dot moving along the line. This is what Merleau-Ponty calls objective time. He says objective time is a fiction. It does not exist. Why? Because a line of nows would not flow. Imagine a long row of photographs. Each photograph is a frozen instant. If you look at one photograph, you see a static image. There is no movement. There is no past or future. There is only this one frozen instant. If time were really a series of nows, nothing would ever change. You would be stuck in an eternal frozen present. So time is not a line. What is it then? Merleau-Ponty says that real time is a field of presence. This is his most important idea about time. A field is not a point. A field has width, it has depth. When you live in the present, you are not in a tiny dot, you are in a thick zone. This present field has two horizons. A horizon is an edge that you cannot see past, but you know it is there. First, there is the horizon of the past. This is what Husserl, Merleau-Ponty's teacher, called retention. Retention is not a memory. A memory is something you actively recall. Retention is the past still held in your hands. For example, you just heard the first word of the sentence. You do not need to remember it. It is still there. It is still present, just fading. The first word is not gone. It is sinking away. But it is still part of your living present. Second, there is the horizon of the future. This is called protension. Protension is not a prediction or a guess. It is the future already anticipated in your present. When you read a sentence, you are not just looking at the current word, you already sense how the sentence will end. The ending is not here yet, but it is already outlined. It is like the back of a house. You cannot see it, but you know it is there. The future is not a blank void, it is a pregnant possibility. So the present is not a point, it is a thick field that holds the past and reaches toward the future. The past is not over there, it is still here, just fading. The future is not over there, it is already here, just not yet fully formed. You are time. This is Merleau-Ponty's radical claim. You do not have time, you are time. Your very existence is the process of the past flowing into the present and the present reaching toward the future. Your self is not a thing, it is a movement, it is an ekstase. That is a Greek word meaning standing outside oneself. You are always outside yourself. You are always in the past and the future. You are never completely in the now. That is why you can change. That is why you can grow. That is why you can regret the past and hope for the future. If you were a frozen point, you could do none of these things. Now we can talk about freedom. This is the last big topic in the book. There is a debate in philosophy. On one side, there is determinism. Determinists say that every action is caused by past events. Your genes, your upbringing, your environment, these things make you who you are. You are a product of causes. You have no real freedom. On the other side, there is absolute freedom. Thinkers like Sartre say that we are completely free. We are nothingness. We have no fixed nature. We can choose ourselves at every moment. We can always say no. We can always break from our past. Merleau-Ponty says both sides are wrong. They are wrong because they both think in terms of objects. Determinism treats you like a ping pong ball. Causes hit you and you move. Absolute freedom treats you like a ghost. You can float free of any situation. The truth is in between. Merleau-Ponty calls it situated freedom. You are always in a situation, but you are not trapped by that situation. What is a situation? A situation is the concrete lived context of your life. Your situation includes your body. You cannot choose to be 6 feet tall if you are 5 feet tall. Your situation includes your past. You cannot choose to have been born in France if you were born in India. Your situation includes your social class, your language, and your historical moment. These things are facts, you cannot erase them, but they do not determine you. Instead, they motivate you. Motivation is not causation. A cause forces you, a motive invites you. Think about a rock climber. A rock wall has certain features. There are cracks, ledges, and rough patches. These features do not force the climber to climb in one specific way, but they do not leave the climber completely free either. The wall suggests certain paths, it makes some moves easy and other moves impossible. The climber's freedom is to take up the wall's suggestions or to try something new. But the climber cannot ignore the wall itself. Your life is like that rock wall. Your past, your body, your society. These are the given features. They do not force you, but they do shape the field of your possibilities. You can change, you can make a radical decision, you can convert to a new religion or quit your job or move to a new country. But you can only change from where you are, and you can only change toward where the situation allows. This is why Merleau-Ponty says that we choose our world and the world chooses us. It is a two-way street. We are not passive victims of fate, but we are not absolute creators either. We are participants in a dialogue. The world speaks to us and we answer. Our answer is free, but it must be an answer to something. Let us make this concrete with an example. Think about social class. Are you working class, middle class, or upper class? A determinist would say your class is determined by your income, your job, and your education. If you work in a factory, you are working class. End of story. An absolute freedom theorist would say you choose your class. You can decide to identify as a worker, or you can decide to identify as a capitalist. Class is just a label. You can pick it up or put it down. Merleau-Ponty says both are wrong. Class is real, but it is not a fixed label. Class is a lived reality. It is a shared style of existence. It is a way of walking, talking, hoping, and fearing. You become aware of your class slowly over time. You notice that your boss treats you differently. You notice that you cannot afford the same things as your neighbors. You notice that the system seems stacked against you. These are not just thoughts in your head, they are felt pressures, they are obstacles in your path. One day you might decide to join a union. You might go on a strike. You might become a revolutionary. That decision is free. It is not caused by your paycheck, but it is also not random. It is a response to a real situation. The situation put the question and you gave your answer. History is the same way. History is not a machine with fixed laws, but it is also not just whatever we want it to be. History has a direction, a sense. That sense emerges from the collective actions of millions of situated bodies. No one person controls it, but everyone contributes to it. Let us wrap up everything we have learned over these two lectures. First, we learned that perception is not a calculation. It is a direct communion between your world and the world. Second, we learned that your body is not an object. It is a living subject of perception. It has a silent knowledge called the body schema. Third, we learned that the self is not a ghost. The true self is the tacit cogito, the wordless momentum of existence that lives in your posture, your habits, and your movements. Fourth, we learned that time is not a line, it is a thick field of present. The past is still held in retention. The future is already anticipated in protension. You are that movement. You are time itself. Fifth, we learned that freedom is not total and not zero. It is situated. Your situation gives you a field of possibilities. Your freedom is the power to take up those possibilities or to reject them. But you cannot reject the field itself. Finally, what is philosophy for? Merleau-Ponty says that philosophy cannot give you final answers. It cannot solve the mystery of existence. Philosophy's only job is to help you relearn how to look at the world. It is to clear away the dust of old prejudices so that you can see the wonder again. At the very end of the book, Merleau-Ponty quotes Exupery. The quote says, "Your act is you. You give yourself in exchange. Your significance shows itself effulgent. It is your duty, your hatred, your love, your steadfastness, your ingenuity. Man is but a network of relationships, and these alone matter to him." What does this mean? It means that you are not an idea, you are not a definition, you are what you do. You are your commitments, you are your loves, you are your acts of courage. Philosophy can describe this, philosophy can clear the path, but in the end, you have to walk the path yourself. Your body knows how. Trust it, live your life. And when you act, you will not need to ask if you are free. You will feel your freedom in every gesture, every step, and every breath.